Good morning, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. This is your Wednesday wrap-up, and of course, we got Herb in the house. I got coffee in my hand. It's a good day. How's it going, man?
Yes, I'm good. This is the coffee cup where I don't have to wash it later, so don't mistake the red Solo.
Got it. Yes, red Solo cup.
Hey, don't give away all my secrets this early in the morning.
It feels a little early, but hey, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
know what I did last night.
Start early.
Yeah, morning drinking doesn't count as day drinking. What's up, dude?
National Donut Day. I kind of wish I had a bear claw. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, I could get down with that day. I want to know who was in charge of naming the days too, but that's a whole nother topic.
Well, especially when you look at the list of like national whatever days, there's more than there are days.
Yes.
So you have national whatever day, and you have multiple of those on days. So you're just like, I mean, I don't know how you like. Is it really a national day if it's like a bunch of national days?
Right. Yep. And I want to know which days do they do National Wife and National Mistress Day on the same day, or do those get two separate days?
No. I'm pretty sure that's the same day. Yeah, that's how people pronounce it. Besides, I believe they call that Valentine's Day.
True. Very good point. 1 point to both. What's up, Toya? Roll Tide. Good morning to you.
Two separate
days.
Got Raj in the house.
What up? Take for Ty. Raj is I know that's a later subject, but Raj is just totally giving up on the Dolphins. He's just like, you know what? We're done.
Yeah, I mean, the trades are definitely going to dominate the show today. Just because lots of movement last night, trade deadline for the NFL. I do want to hit the WNBA real quick. Not a long topic because they've figured zero things out. And so they managed to not get a new CBA signed 2 days before it expired, which was on Halloween. They finally found a way to get an extension done, but it doesn't sound like the contract talks are any closer.
No.
This is this could be a lockout year for the WNBA, and talk about absolutely killing all the momentum you've had over the last two seasons.
Yeah. I mean, and look, you tie a lot of it to Caitlin Clark, right? Fairly or unfairly, but that's fine, right? She brought in, but what came with her was probably one of the most heralded rookie classes that they have, when like your number 7 pick became like the second most popular player in the class, right? And you follow it up with Paige Buchers, who is widely regarded as, one of the best rookies that they're going to have if she could stay healthy. Okay. A lot more eyeballs on the whole rest of the league. There's a lot of people, that the ratings actually, if I'm not mistaken, actually sustained after Clark's injury. What's up, John?
Yep.
And that the ratings were still well done. And then I think it helped them to have the aces come back the way they did and kind of add a little more star power to the finals, because, with them falling off and the Collier getting hurt, nobody was really watching, Phoenix, I don't think. So it helped that. So with a Clark injury, the league still sustained really well. And the future looks bright with the younger players they have. This is the absolute worst time to go for a labor stoppage. Exactly. I don't understand. And you look at some of the things, it's a lot of it's about optics, The basis is they're saying, the players want more money. And then everybody puts up this thing, well, they're actually losing money. Well, no, there's a lot of hidden numbers. The more I read, because I was guilty of that, I'll be honest. Sure. But there's a lot more hidden numbers in what they're looking at. how the revenue is actually go, because I didn't realize that the NBA counts like almost everything as part of their revenue. Well, good job putting the C's up.
Yes.
Good job.
Anyway.
Yes. What's up, Jay Beck, man? Love you, man. Just reading more about it, the NBA counts way more stuff like merch, towards those revenue numbers.
Sure.
And the WNBA doesn't. They try to limit the number to as small as possible. And they're playing the players 10%, where the NBA is playing 50%. Like, there's some basic stuff here where the players aren't just saying, just give me more money. They're saying, we just want this percentage of what you guys are doing.
And the NBA came out and they're like, well, but we make more money. It's like, that's great, but that's not how percentages work.
Right.
If they make less, they make less because it's 50% of a lesser number. Like, that's not how math works. So it's funny. It's not like they're asking for anything unprecedented. They've, driven the league to having the best viewership it's ever had. And, this is coming on the forefront of them signing their TV deal, which is 11-year, $2.2 billion. So they're going to have over $200 million a year. So you can say that they were losing 40, but that's great because that's not what it is moving forward. It's not like this CBA is like, oh, we're going to give you money for years past. It's giving you money into this new revenue that's coming. So, and again, it's a percentage that most other leagues utilize. So it's not like they want anything crazy. They just want the revenue that they're helping generate. Like, I'm not mad at it. I'm actually on the player's side here because you're going to make money. They're not trying to get anything crazy out of you. They just want to get the same percentage that every other pro sport gives.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at. I mean, you've known my story. I quit a job over this where the owner was taking 80 to 85% of every job, and me and the only other worker were taking 15. So at that base level, people should understand that's what they're fighting for. They're just looking for a bigger percentage. And so, if the league makes less on this stuff, then they'll make less, but they want that percentage. And I think that's fair. 10% is crazy. And if it was any other sport, we would say, okay, that's terrible. But because we're conditioned to think, okay, this league just loses money every year and here's these numbers. Okay, but what goes into those numbers? Like, actually do a deep dive before you decide. Okay.
Well,
and I was guilty of the same.
Even if everything stayed the same and you just add $200 million a year, that's plus $1.60, right? Like, so, I mean, if you're saying, oh, but they were losing 40, well, now you just added 200 million. Again, I feel like that's easy math. You can even drop some zeros if it helps you.
I know. Can we also say for everybody who's like, oh, they're just losing money every year, if it wasn't a viable product, they don't get that TV deal. So clearly someone else sees, okay, look, this is something where we can make something on. So the math ain't mathing in some of these people's ideas.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, most of the people that are out there saying all they do is lose money and all this, they're also not people that watch the sport.
True.
They're just out there hating because they have a keyboard in front of them and got nothing better to do.
Because it's
most
easy
of
to
them, exactly, right? They're like, oh, but they lose money. It's like, yeah, but you're obviously not paying attention at all.
No.
Right.
No.
So, and then the one thing that I've complained about with the WNBA for, the last 2 years anyway, is they've made their product hard to consume. The good thing with this TV contract is it's going to be on major networks. So you're not going to have, random streaming or whatever. You go find it on Ion they're going to be in similar places all the time now instead of, oh, it's on this random channel today. And so it's going to be much easier for people to consume because not only were they doing terrible marketing, so you didn't know when the game was, but then it was an obscure location to go find it.
Yes.
Now, if you're just flipping along, you're like, oh, WNBA, here we go.
Yeah.
So I think that'll help ratings as well.
I agree. As somebody who wanted to casually watch games, sometimes I was like, I really can't be bothered to go and pull up something and figure out where you're going. And also, why is the only 3 games of this night all playing at the same time? Like, can we fix that too as well? There was just weird quirks. And then all of a sudden there'd be 3 days in a row and there'd be like one game scheduled within those 3 days. So it was just like at times I felt like they were just throwing stuff out, just try to see what they could do. So yeah, I really do hope that the television deal clears up a lot of
I mean, I really think that this was, I always made the joke that I think a high school DECA program could outperform the marketing team for the WNBA.
Absolutely.
It really makes you think that the WNBA's marketing team, up to this point, I know they hired a bunch of people for this coming year. Lots of turnover, right? As far as league wide coming into this season. But it really made me think that they were you got out of college, this is where you intern as a marketing person, right? So like in my younger days, I worked for this company called Genie Lift, right? And they make like scissor lifts and boom lifts and stuff like that, right? One of the largest ones in the world, actually. But the thing that's funny with them is their engineers are that. It's like their first job coming out of college, and then that's where they kind of figure out what it is they're doing, and then they move on from there. But so you see lots of like weird engineering things during the initial builds. It's not something the customers ever see, but those of us that were like building these things, you're just like, why would you do that? Because we were the ones that actually like had to put the things together, and you're just like, that's not going to work like on the computer, but in practice, like that's not going to be awesome. I feel like it's the same type of caliber. It's just like, oh yeah, I just got out of school. It's like, cool. Do you have any qualifications? Not at all. It's like, perfect, you're hired. Like
perfect, you're hired. Yep. And here's the only thing we're going to teach you before you get started. Caitlin Clark, have at it. Like she's injured. Now what do we do? Oh well, we didn't have a plan before, so now it really doesn't matter. Just do whatever you want. And you go in and everybody's playing solitaire, and you go, this makes sense. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, and of course, because they haven't come up with this CBA, the Storm hire their new coach. She has her first press conference tonight, right? So I get to cover that. Hopefully I get a chance to answer the question. I know there's going to be a million media people there for this. What is the plan when there's not a CBA? Like you're the new coach, your team has 0 players. So like you get with your GM and what? Like what is the mentality there? Like you're like, yeah, we're gonna win. It's like, cool. Who are you gonna play with? No idea. Like
you go in there and they're playing cards.
I'm very curious to see what that looks like, and what the mentality is, because that's got to be sort of daunting as a new coach too. Right. You're like, okay, yeah, I got hired, got this job. We got one player that doesn't want to be here. Cool. That's going to be hard to win with.
Yes. Do you just hang out with that player all day and it's just like, all right, I guess we'll chill until somebody else gets something done? So.
And I don't think that she ends up being here, because she was very vocal in her exit conference to be like, hey, like I never even got my opportunity here. So even though she's the only player that's under contract, I can't imagine that she's still here. So as it sits today, the way I view the team, there's no players on it. And they just, I don't know, like that's going to be, hopefully I get a chance, because the press conference is going to be small. And I know that the room's going to be full. So, but even if I don't get that question in, I hope somebody gets the question in.
Right.
It's like, what is the vision when there's no players? Like, how much time are you spending with the GM? Like, who are you targeting? How does that look? Right. You don't even really know, because you don't know what the CBA is ultimately going to become. So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be pretty crazy. Yeah. The Hawks are looking good. So that being said, just wanted to touch on the WNBA, because that was, since our last show, the CBA did expire. They got the 30-day extension. It doesn't sound like any progress is being made. So
like it all.
Yeah, like not even a little bit. Like they came in, they're like, yeah, I guess we'll extend it. And then they're like,
Right.
in 30
That
days.
was it.
Like, and even that sounded like it was a lot of work. So it just seems like they're so far apart that this isn't going to go well. But
yeah, I feel like that was a text message like, hey, nah.
Yeah. Feel like this could have been an email. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, I don't know, pretty crazy. But that being said, the NFL had themselves a day yesterday. And, you know, good segue, I guess. Let's start with the Seahawks. We went and grabbed a receiver from a team that is obviously punting, right? Saints know that their season is over. And you can, like, this is the time of year where you know the teams that are trying to do something, the teams that are saying, yeah, it's over. And then there's the middling teams that do nothing because they're not good enough where they need a player, but they're not bad enough that they're selling either, right?
Right.
So you really fall into those three groups. The Seahawks go and grab a receiver, Rashid Shaheed, and makes the receiving core very dynamic because you're adding that to Cooper Kupp and JSN and the rookie Horton. So, I mean, you got four dudes. It makes you wonder, is his injury a little more long lasting? So they had to go get a guy, or was it that they needed another speed guy to help the running game open up? Because now you can't have safeties crashing all the time, right? You got to respect the fact that Shaheed can rip the top off. So, like, I get the move. I really wanted to see an offensive guard to take over for Bradford, though, just because he's been a liability on the line. And exactly. The Hawks just didn't do enough. But what my real question there is, was there availability at that offensive guard position? And was it just too expensive? So, you know, from the outside, we're just like, they didn't do anything. But from inside the room, like, were they making phone calls to help those positions out? Or was it just they just didn't do anything? Or was the asking price just too high? You know, and unfortunately, from the outside, you just never get a no. But, you know, it would have been good to see a guard and not to get rid of Bradford, right? He's too young to punt on the guy. You know, he has made steps forward. His play on the field hasn't gotten a ton better, but he's limited his penalties. Like, he used to get holding calls all the time. That's been, you know, diminished a lot. But he is out of position a lot, which is why I was like, well, if they go get a mid-level guard as a rotational guy, I could get with it. Like, that would be nice. The other position I thought they might do something with was linebacker, with Jones getting injured the other day. Knee injuries, never feel that great about them, but that makes me think that maybe it's not that serious, because it didn't sound like they even kicked the tires on a linebacker. So, and no, I don't think they overpaid for what Shaheed is. Now, if they would have given up a first or something, you know, maybe, but that was a fourth and a fifth. So no, I think that I think that's pretty good for what it is Shaheed brings, and the fact that he doesn't have to be wide receiver one. That's JSN still all day. So you add a talent like Shaheed, especially when Kupp comes back. You still have Horton out there. You're running four wide. You have a linebacker on either Horton, Kupp, or Shaheed. They lose that every single time. So when you roll four wides with what the Seahawks have today, they better be in a dime package where they just got every DB on the field, because otherwise they're not going to be able to keep up. So I actually don't mind what they paid. I do like the acquisition, especially with Kupp's injury. But I would have loved to see some offensive line help.
Yeah. And I think, I guess on both points, the old Hawks in there,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Which I still don't get the lock-in, but that's I guess something totally different.
Well, no,
I think this also.
Before you go on, so the Lockett thing makes sense because he's a possession guy that's got great hands and somebody Gino knows, right? So that should have been good. It just happens that Geno is playing horrendously bad.
And
Anyway,
that's my thing. After you get let go, if you're Lockett, that's not the team I want to go to. Like, I don't get going from, what was it, the Titans to the Raiders. Like,
well,
if those are your
he asked to be let go.
right. No, I get that
Yeah.
part. But I'm saying if I ask to get let go and I look around and I'm trying to pick my next destination, it's not going to be the Raiders. Like, I might as well have just stayed with the Titans.
Yeah, but you don't get to pick your destination. Like, you get to go out and make phone calls. But if nobody's trying to pick you up, and
that's what I would do then. I would rather be nobody's than be on the Raiders right now.
Man, those game checks, even as a minimum, are too big to do that.
I just feel like you could get it somewhere else. I just feel like there can't be just one team calling. If there was even two, now if it was like the Raiders and the Saints and they're the only two calling, like, I get it. I just feel like there has to be other options.
Yeah,
so
if it was the Raiders and the Saints, I'm taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders, right?
Yes, I guess.
At least you're going to get touches. You're not going to win games,
right.
but at least you're going to get some yards.
You're going to get touches. Yeah, I get the ball. But I feel like the Seahawks also bought themselves a little more time with the Cup injury. So I think it's like, if it is a little more serious than they thought, they're like, look, now there's no need to rush you back, even though the division is competitive. I think there was going to be that chance. And just glancing around, this is obviously, I have no eyes and ears on this, but there's only like one lineman in the top trades anyway. So it might have just been a thing of availability. Like you said, the ones that people might have wanted, the price tag too high. So, it just wasn't a lot of movement on that front.
That's why I said a rotational piece. Like, they didn't have to go get a guy, right? Like, they didn't have to go get like the best lineman, best guard out there, right? But if they got a rotational piece for Bradford, because Bradford has actually played pretty well in moment, right? So, when you're breaking down the tape, you're like, okay, these are the packages that you seem to do decent in. And these are the ones that you get barbecued constantly. We bring in this other guard who maybe has the opposing skill set, and you can do some rotational things that, can kind of help each other out and give Darnold and your running game a little bit more protection, which is where it's fallen short, right? Because you got two running backs that are great, but the line has a tendency to not open the holes up. And so they're averaging 3 yards a carry on guys that should absolutely be better than that.
Right.
So, so that's where I think something like that would have been helpful, because, when you're watching film, I put together a low light video of Bradford, and it made me sad the whole time I did it. But I watched him block our own player in the back. Like you can't do stuff like that. I've watched him whiff on guys in pass protection. He's been decent because he can kind of buddy up with somebody, because they're usually rushing 4. You got 5 linemen, so you can kind of like help somebody out. But on run protection, he's just whiffed on guys, and that is a real issue for a team that likes to run, right?
Right.
So, so as much as I like the receiver acquisition, I would have really liked to see something that helps the line, except because of Rashid's speed, that does sort of help the line, in a roundabout way, because now you can't have everybody crash down. Someone has to respect his speed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the pickup, and I liked him. I don't know if they were a little surprised that even having that as a need, but like you said, with the Cooper Kupp injury, and then doing well in the division, being competitive, I think that all kind of pushed it towards, all right, we at least got to do something at this deadline. So I liked it.
Yeah, and I mean, the Raiders have punted, obviously. They give up Jacoby Myers.
Who wanted out for a while too.
Yeah. What's that?
Who wanted out for a while too. Jacoby Myers.
I mean, I get wanting out, and that's one of the things that this is the time of year where if you are on a bad team, you're hoping you get traded, right?
Right.
So like when you're in Shahid's case, or even Jacoby, right? You're going from a team that you're at week 10 and it's a wrap. Like, there's no chance you're doing anything. And then you get traded to a team that is probably going to the playoffs. You're like, hey, like,
Yes. What is it
or,
like? The flowers smell better, the water tastes better. All of a
no
sudden,
question,
like,
no question. Well, especially when you go to when you look at so Mike,
what's up, Mike?
when you go to Sauce Gardner, right? You're
Yeah.
going from a Jets team that is just in disarray and terrible on every facet of the game, and then you go to the best record in the league.
Yes.
Like, that's as big of a swing as you can go. You can go from the worst team to, I don't know if I'd call them the best team, but statistically they are at the moment.
Right.
Despite a really ugly loss the other day. But, you know, those are the kinds of things where you're just like, yeah, it's when it happens the other direction where you're like, okay, playoff team, this is sweet. And then all of a sudden you're like, we are 2-5. What happened? Like,
I know.
yeah.
I was just enjoying life, and now what's going on? No, kudos to Sauce for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is a weird one. Kind of kudos to the Jets for finally deciding, look, we suck. Okay, this is not going well. So let's just actually plan for the future here. So,
Well, and
I wonder.
They got some good stuff for him because they got 2 1s.
Yeah. Yeah. And turning throwing Q as well, what they got for him. I mean, they've got a lot of draft capital to kind of rebuild this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will they ever be able to pick a quarterback? That's what remained to be seen. And you have a defensive-minded head coach, so I don't know if you're just going to redraft your defense, but that's neither here nor there. I still like the teardown.
They ended up with a lot of picks too, because they also traded with Dallas. So they send Quinnen Williams down. They get Mozzie Smith, which, you know, cool. But they also get a second and a first round out of that.
Right.
So, I mean, yesterday they acquire 3 firsts and a second. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Robert. I think they might screw it up, but and that's why I also mentioned Breece Hall, who was out there, you know, tweeting stuff that made it look like he was about to go somewhere. And then now he's still stuck. So, sorry, Breece.
And this is exactly it. Like they're gonna.
Yeah, that's what I said. I agree with Robert. Yeah, they're gonna mess it up, but at least they have some sort of plan. Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance? We're like, no, but I mean, you know, still kudos to you guys for getting that done. So. And that was a shocker, too, though. I didn't think Q was going anywhere. I mean, actually, I didn't think Sauce was either, though. It didn't seem like they were in a position to want to break up the defense. And then you wonder how long that stuff was working, you know, being worked on, or did somebody just flip a table and said, get rid of everybody all of a sudden? They were just, calls were going left and right. And also good on the Colts, man, for kind of like, look, we don't know if we've just got lightning in the bottle, if it's all about to fall apart. But if we're going to try and make a move and get ahead, especially with Ward being banged up, but when he gets back, you know, having a great cornerback duo, let's just go for it, you know? So, you know how it is. Life is short in the NFL. So when you get a chance, you got to go for it. I like that they pulled the trigger. Yeah,
I mean, especially because how many seasons have the Colts been good? Like, it hasn't been a lot, right?
Right.
And I mean, and it really hasn't been much since Manning left. Like, you had a couple of good years with
Luck.
But outside of that, like it's been rough, and it's not like every year with Luck was great either. So the Colts haven't been great. For whatever reason, it's clicking. Yeah, like you got to do it, because for them, it probably is a one and done type of thing. It's like next year they're going to be back to being the Colts. So if you have the opportunity to be like, hey, you know what, we'll just push all the chips to the middle and hope we can get one, because but I will say this, though. I really like what Carly Ursay is doing. You know, everybody was making fun of her being on the sideline and taking notes. And I don't know how many people are making fun of it now, because it's working. Right.
Yep. Pulled all the right, making all the right moves, and the team looks way better. So, no, kudos to them for sure.
That being said, it does get us to our halfway point. And so if you are listening on ICU Radio 97.3, we do have some smooth jazz headed your way. Otherwise, stay tuned here on Football Dash Talk on YouTube and catch the second half of the show. We're going to continue going over some of the trades and, of course, power rankings to wrap this show up. All right. So Sauce was probably the biggest name.
Right.
But there was some decent trades out there. The one that I feel like didn't really do anything, and this is just a Jerry Jones thing. Like, he was talking like they were going to make some massive moves and whatever, and they didn't really do anything special. You know, they get a couple of players, but linebacker Logan Wilson. Oh, okay, I guess you're pulling a guy from the next worst defense. So, I mean, like, I don't know how much you feel good about that. And then, of course, getting Quentin Williams. Quentin Williams is nice. But I don't know that he's necessarily a huge upgrade on your defense from Mozzie Smith, right?
Right.
I mean, is he a better player? Sure. Is it enough better that it's going to move the needle for this team? Probably not. I know you're in a division where it's you and the Eagles because Washington is done. The Giants are done. There's too many injuries on those two teams. So like it is a 2-team race in that division. So I get it from that perspective, but you're probably not having two teams get to the playoffs from that division anyway. So unless you win, you know, and I don't see them beating the Eagles. So I feel like these acquisitions didn't really do anything for them. Maybe it was just like, hey, this will get people to continue showing up to the games for the next few weeks. Like that's all I can figure.
Yeah. I feel like it was an emotional reaction to what happened Monday night too. I think there was like, oh crap, we've got to make a move. But can we also say, as much money as you're paying the offense, they only scored 17 points against the Cardinals. So for whatever, you know, you want to put all the blame on the defense, that's fine. But your offense didn't show up either. And that's, you know, you went and got Pickens, and CeeDee Lamb's making a lot of money and Dak's making a lot of money. You know, at least the Bengals, when they're bad, their defense gives up. They would usually still go out and score. So,
they still put up 40. Just
right. You know,
43. Yeah, no, it's
right.
The thing with like, especially playing that poorly against an Arizona team that's got your, you know, Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. So it's not even like they had Kyler or anything. Like, there was no reason for them to look as bad as they did. But they don't get me wrong, Arizona does have a solid squad, right? Like they got a solid roster. I feel like they're actually underperforming.
For sure. And we talked about that. Yeah.
The thing with Dallas is you go into that game, you turn the ball over 3 times, right? A pick and 2 fumbles, but you also turn it over on downs 3 times. So you essentially have 6 turnovers in that game. You're never going to win that game.
No.
Like, even against bad teams.
Yeah. And that's what I said. I think that they're putting too much on the defense on this one, which, you know, defense has been bad. So I'm definitely not defending them.
For sure.
But your offense didn't perform what it needed to win that game either. And I feel like these were knee-jerk. You made moves like with Micah Parsons to help protect your future. And then it was like you got to the trade deadline where really he's like, you know what, screw the future. Let's just go and get something now. So it's the, you know, one of my biggest pet peeves with general managers is there's no like long-term plan. If you're gonna punt on a season and say, let's go for the future, then I'm totally with that. You know, and you made a good argument with the Micah Parsons deal, like, okay, it didn't make sense. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But now you go out and get Q and you trade good draft capital to get him. And so now I'm just, you know, and the fan base is confused, and you're coming off a loss. You don't look competitive. And like I said, it's going to take a lot. I realize the division doesn't look that great. Philly looks beatable every single time out.
True.
But are you really going to catch them? Is this the team? Like, let's say you catch Philly somehow, right?
Sure.
And you get to the play. Is this the team with these moves, like the team you think is getting you to the Super Bowl, or are you just going to be another first-round exit like every other time you make the playoffs? Like,
if they were to randomly make it, it's a first-round exit. Like, this is not a good team.
You know? Yeah.
Like, their Super Bowl window ended last year.
Yeah.
and really it was the year before, but last year there was like that outside shot and whatever. But yeah, I mean, they're on like their window is mostly closed. Obviously you can get hot at a random time and, maybe it works out. But as far as having all the pieces together, you're 2 years removed from your best season. Yeah. So the fact that they keep doing stuff like this doesn't make a lot of sense. You're like, okay, moving on from Parsons, like you said, I get it. You get some draft picks. You get a player that you needed to help run stop that you guys just couldn't do at all. So, I mean, I wasn't mad at the move. I thought it was dumb how long they took to do it because they got way less than they probably could have. But now you basically give away the draft picks that you acquired. And so it's like you're now just in the same boat with less talent. Like it just didn't make sense to me. But that's the Cowboys, and that's why they haven't been to a championship game in 30 years. So
exactly. Yeah. ESPN had a good article about it. Like basically, once you add up all the moves and everything, it actually was just like a net even. Like, so at that point, you might as well have just kept Parsons. And by the way, my one last shout out for the Cowboys. Shout out to George Pickens for catching a 6-yard pass and then taunting and getting a 15-yard penalty.
I know.
Like, keep being you. keep being you, buddy. I looked at that and I was like, 6 yards and then lose 15. Yeah, that's a very Pickens thing to do. So. Yeah,
well, that was like the other week when we saw DK poke a player in the eye. You're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like after the play, like just like, what are we doing? So pretty dumb. I was also surprised they didn't get rid of Hendrickson for no other reason than he's a free agent at the end of the year anyway.
Right.
And your defense is awesome. So, you might as well just move on. Like you're obviously not going to do anything. You can't win when you're scoring 40.
Yes.
I don't know how much more you want the team to do. And it was funny because people were blaming Flacco in that, right? They score 40 points. They're blaming Flacco. Right. They're like, well, he didn't perform on that last drive. It's like, yeah, you know what else could have happened is your defense show up ever. Like
any drive, any time. Yes.
You had 60 minutes of football and they did not enter the field.
Yes. I'm sorry. You score 42. Your team wins that game. And there is no way. Look, you know why he didn't perform? Because he's over 40 and his arm was tired. Okay. At the end of that game, he was like, we got to do this again. Like, yeah, that's how you blame the quarterback in that position. Like,
well, not even just that, but they scored twice in the last, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Like, I don't know how much more you want your team to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last drive
for 470 yards. Or what? Yeah. 470 yards. All right.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, why didn't you get 500? Yeah. Bad game.
Only 470? You're such a chump. Yeah, I don't know. It's a wild take, and it was funny because that's where the narrative went. And I was just like, we're not going to talk about the 11 dudes that did nothing on the other side of the ball.
Right.
Cool. I guess. Like I don't. So.
Oh my goodness.
No, it was pretty wild. I didn't. That was one I didn't get. Exactly. Man. Yeah.
And Kyler's out anyway for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say right? Kyler's still hurt. So Jacoby gets the start.
But I agree. I think he had earned it maybe anyway. So you wonder about Kyler's future at some point too.
Well, and that it's funny because that was one thing. Like, I think there is a quarterback controversy, but not necessarily in the way that you think. Jacoby's played good enough to start. Like, I actually like the way the offense looks better with Jacoby.
Right.
I think where the controversy comes in is they're paying Kyler way too much money for them to let Jacoby start.
Right. And that's usually where it comes from.
Yeah. So like in this case, because most organizations won't really do like what the Seahawks did, where they're like, yeah, we just paid Matt Flynn $17 million, but Russell Wilson looked better in camp. So here's your 17 mil. Thanks for stopping by. Most teams won't do that, right? Most teams are going to be, hey, we're paying this guy $150 million. He's going to start. And Arizona feels like that team. Now, do I think that Kyler Murray is a better athlete? No question. But you can be a better athlete and not a better quarterback. So it's weird to say this because it's Jacoby Brissett. And, in my mind, he's just a backup quarterback in general.
For sure. Yeah.
But he's been commanding this offense better. So, I mean, in the interest of winning, you probably put him out there. Or do you look at it as, hey, you know what? After this season, we have some opportunity to potentially move Kyler. So we understand this season is already kind of a wrap. This division is about as competitive as it gets. And we're, 3 games behind. Probably not making those games up. It would be extraordinarily rare because it's never happened before to send all 4 teams from a division. It's possible, but it's never happened. So they're probably out of the mix anyway. So then do you say, hey, you know what? We want Kyler back because we want him to get some good tape so that we can move off him.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen. Is you have to get him back out there. The division's out of reach. And yes, if there's going to be any value, he's got to be on the field. So that's what I think. I absolutely, if they were one of the 3 in the mix, then I think they get Jacoby out there and they say, oh, Kyler's still banged up. They probably, just to make it sound better. Yeah, no, he's still banged up. We're just easing him back in, where secretly they're like, look, this is our best chance to win. But if you have no chance of winning, get your quarterback out there and then look, maybe he turns it on and he starts playing great and you say he's the future, or, just plays well enough to get himself traded and you get something like that. So no, I absolutely agree. And I think where they are in the standings dictates it.
Oh, for sure. But I think in both scenarios, Jacoby's played good enough that you slow play Kyler coming back anyway.
For sure.
Because you can blame it on the injury. It's a slower recovery, or you want to make sure he's 100%, or however you want to phrase it. I think they do that anyway, because he's played good enough that it's probably even true that they're just like, hey, we want to make sure you're solid because our backup is winning games anyway. Let's make sure you're good to go so you don't re-injure yourself. Like I believe that is not only, hey, let's ride the hot hand, but it's probably also, legitimately the case, which I don't think always is the case, but I think it probably is here.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. So, they're in an interesting position.
Tanking for Ty.
I would never wish any quarterback, and we love Ty Simpson, but him going to the Jets,
I don't wish the Jets organization on any quarterback. We haven't seen it work yet for any of them. I mean, so the one thing they don't do is develop quarterbacks. Right. I don't know what it is about that organization, but man, they just can't do it. If he goes to the Saints, that'd be good. It's a worse team, but it's funny. It would be a better situation with a worse team.
It would be. Offensive-minded head coach, though, too. I think that helps out a little bit, and you have some hope of maybe building up the offense. I just feel like the Jets are going to use all these picks, rebuild the defense again, and have a terrible offensive situation.
Yeah, so they're going to get like a first-round punter, and then I'm with you. Like it's just such a dysfunctional organization that even when they have things that you can be happy with, I mean, you look at the last couple of years under Saleh, they had a top 5 defense, and honestly, if their offense could have stayed on the field ever, probably the best defense in the league. You fire that guy, and then you go get another defensive coach. And you're just like, I don't understand what the mentality is. You might as well just kept Saleh, because obviously his defenses work. He's back with the Niners. That defense looks good. Yeah.
Oh, they're happy to have him, especially when they barely have any pieces and he's still making it work. So clearly that was not the issue. But it's always amazing, these teams that can't get one position right keep hiring in the wrong part of it. So like, okay, our offense is always letting us down. Time to hire a new coach. Let's get a defensive head coach. And is nobody ever like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, no, it'll work out fine. The defense will be great. But you just said the offense was bad. Yeah, so we'll hire a defense coach. That's my logic. That's what I'm sticking with it. So I also think that the Jets and Browns probably share front offices, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah. No, I mean, that would be like me sitting here and being like, oh, my coffee's empty. Let me chew on my mouse. I'm just like that's not the same thing.
At all. But, the Jets are consistent. Let's just say that. One of the most consistent organizations.
They are that. Yeah, Quentin Williams getting traded. Anytime somebody's getting traded from the Jets, you kind of feel good for them, right? I don't know why that's so dysfunctional. I mean, obviously, it's ownership, right?
For sure.
Because you've gone through a bunch of players. You've gone through different, GMs, coaches, whatever, but there's the same Jets. So the only common denominator there is ownership. At some point, if you're a Jets fan, like, you got to be banging the drum for them to be like, hey, why don't you just sell this team to somebody that likes football?
Yes. Yes. No, and that the Clippers tried it. I know they haven't gotten where they want, but the at least the product on the field was much better, and you could see an effort. Yeah, for this one, I mean, and Cowboys in the same boat. Cleveland. There are certain organizational things that you guys get wrong every year that never get any better, and there's only one common denominator, like you said. So no. And then the fact that the owner likes Glenn, that leads me to think that they're headed down the same path that they've already.
So does he like Glenn? Because he just got rid of his two biggest pieces.
Right. But I think because he got him such much draft capital, I think he's going to let him rebuild his defense. That's why I think they're headed down the same path. If he actually does like him. And I think he actually does like him because he was like out there torching the quarterback. At the same time, he was talking about, no, I think Glenn's a problem. We just got to complete passes. I was like, oh, okay. Tell us you hate Justin Fields. But, yes. So that's what I think ended up happening. Yeah.
To be fair, it's not like Justin Fields has been awesome, but.
Oh, yeah. No. I get it, but I can see where we're headed down the same path and the same problem. Sure. I like Glenn. Glenn's a defensive coach. When you guys are in their meetings and there's a, stud wide receiver or a stud defensive lineman, and Glenn's like, I could really use that lineman. Now you're drafting a lineman. You're like, well, great. We've taken 3 or 4 years of draft capital. We've built the defense back up to be a top 5. And we still have, Dylan Gabriel at quarterback after the Browns, got rid of him or whatever. So sorry. I hope Wynn's not listening. Please don't torture me. But, it just seems like that's the
just
situation.
Wishing the worst on Dylan Gabriel right there. Be better off to go to the CFL.
Yeah. Well, at least he'd be used to the dysfunction. So he'd be like, oh, okay.
That's true.
Same organization, different colors.
Pretty much. Yeah. No, it and there she is.
Yes. Love you, Wynn. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. Just there's something off about the Jets, just the way they do anything. So,
yep.
I don't know. It's got to be rough to be a Jets fan. Obviously, there's that clip of the kid. It was like, I was born into this. This is the worst. I hate this team. It's
that poor kid. Oh.
Man, right? And he's going to be going through it for a long time because they're always resetting their reset, right? So, I mean, you have the Browns, the Jets, like those are teams that just every time they start to get something kind of good, they blow it back up. And you're just like, I don't know, like, what is the plan here? Like the rebuild of the rebuild of the rebuild is never successful.
Yep.
But
I think they try to sell you on the rebuild every 3 or 4 years. And then there's always that one fan that's all they have left is hope because they don't have good product on the field. So like, all right, you know what, this time, it'll work.
Well, I think they have to brand it as the rebuild after 4 years and it's unsuccessful because then it's like, oh, okay, well, you got to give us a few more years because we're starting this rebuild. And it's like, well, you've been starting a rebuild for 25 years. So, I mean, like at some point we want to see something built.
Yes. I think the best thing that you guys have done.
A wall. Like, yeah, that's great. We need like 3 other ones and like a roof.
I think all they've given us in about 20 years is Rex Ryan and the butt fumble, and that's pretty much all my memories of the Jets.
Yeah, I mean,
over the years.
that was their only 2 good years, right? They get to back-to-back AFC Championship games. They can't get past the Patriots, and then they fire Rex, and it's been in disarray ever since. That's why I was like, you know what? Hire Rex back. Like, I mean, another defensive coach, but they at least figured their offense out.
Right.
I mean,
and he was entertaining.
Well, I mean, especially that, right? Like, you at least get a funny coach in there if you're going to be
right.
mad.
Yes. I'm with it.
Move the Jets to Alabama. There you go.
Yeah.
I think somehow it would just, well, I don't know. It could be like the Browns. You move and you start winning. It's entirely possible.
I mean, could it get worse than the trajectory that they're on right now? So,
I mean, no, but I don't think anything gets worse than the one they're on, right?
Right.
Like when you're down here in the sand, like there's only one direction to go. Like,
how is it then that they just keep going sideways? Like they're stuck in the sand, and you're like, "There's only one way to go," and they're like, "This way? No. This way?" Like, yeah, just stay right here. It's
fine. You know what? It's fine. Yeah, I feel like the Jets are the corgi running on the beach where it gets tripped by like the little ripples. It's just like and that's every couple years. You know, it takes a tumble.
Yes.
It doesn't fall down very far because the legs are pretty short. They're like, oh, they're not the worst team. They're the 3rd worst team. Oh, no, now they're the worst team again.
Exactly.
All right. So in the last 10 minutes here, let's go over the movement on the power rankings. There was some movement.
Because nobody wanted to win this past week.
Yeah, well, especially the Colts. And of course, I don't believe the Colts record anyway, right? Like they beat up on some bad teams, which they have to do. You got to beat whoever's on your record. They have snuck by a good team. They made a mistake to to fall short of a good team. So, but the Bills beating KC looked good. Eagles move up, not because they did anything, because obviously it was a bye week for them, but they move up because of the Lions and the Colts dropping, right? So don't read a ton into that number. That wasn't you got a raise on your day off or anything. It was just like, these other guys are just kind of falling off a little bit. I have the Niners falling off despite the fact that they won. I don't like where their team is. And so they keep finding ways to win, but I don't think they're as good as teams like the Broncos. That ultimately was the team that knocked them out. Green Bay, obviously again coming up on an ugly loss, but still one
Panthers.
of the better.
That should knock them out, Bo. That should not at home, and you're playing Carolina.
I know.
You should be penalized double point. There should be nobody in the 10 spot before it's the Packers.
So that's what I was playing with. As I was looking at the 10 spot, and I'm like, man, like I don't like any of the teams for the 10 spot, right? So I was just like, well, I'll let the Packers hang on for a week and see kind of where that lands.
I feel like Bo was bribed, everyone. He was bribed.
Yeah, it's just, again, the 10th spot, like I didn't love it for anybody. I played around with the idea of leaving San Fran right there. Yeah, maybe Minnesota. Like that's the thing is I think everybody at 10 is such a flawed team. You don't feel good about it.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah, that could have been anybody. I was really tempted to leave San Fran there. I don't believe in Minnesota at all. So I like Minnesota's pieces, but JJ McCarthy doesn't do anything for me. I mean, he has 3 solid starts. He's thrown for 150 yards in all 3 of them.
Right.
Like nothing about that says, hey, we're going to go beat up on some teams. Now I know their running game's good and they're not asking him to do a lot, but you got guys like Justin Jefferson and you can't throw for more than 150 yards. You're not going to win in December. Like you're not going to win in January. Like those are not, that's not playoff caliber football. So
All right,
that's
but Green Bay
why.
has a tie against Dallas and a loss against Carolina. Like
Yes.
that just, I'm filibustering against them or
No,
however.
no, no.
Like
And,
this
and
is
it's funny because like that, they are the team that plays down to competition.
yes, for sure.
So like when they play good teams, they look great. When they play bad teams, they're like, hey, you know how you guys suck? We're going to do a little more. We're going to just drop it down a notch, make you guys look awesome. So I will give no KC yet. I want to see one more, especially after the loss to the Bills. I want to see.
They're not even in the playoffs as of right now, right?
That's exactly right. So have a great day, Wayne. So yeah. But no, I'm with you. Like there's multiple teams that could have went into that 10th spot. I just don't think the Packers are as bad as they have looked against bad teams. So I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens when they play another good team, right?
Right.
Do they look like they did against the Panthers, which aren't as bad of a team as we like to imagine them, right? Because we're imagining the last 5 years, but you got to keep in mind the Panthers, they're second in their division, and they are what are they, 6-3? So I mean, like they're
5, because they lost the game with what's his name, right?
What's happening, Donna?
5-4, 5-4, yeah.
5-4. So I mean, like they're not a horrible team,
right?
And especially when you figure they lost their first couple, then they rattle off 3 in a row at home. So I mean, like they're finding their way. So it's not as bad of a loss as had it been any other year in the last 5 years, right? Like if you lose to the Panthers the last few years, you're like, yeah, that was a bad loss. You lose to this team. I mean, we talked about them being, taking steps forward this year anyway. We're just like, oh yeah, like they're going to have a decent defense. Like they're going to be interesting at least. And they've been that.
Right. No, I agree. And I think that the funny thing about them is we always get on their defense. Their defense has kind of stepped up. And Bryce is not like playing well, but he's still clutch in certain moments. This is the guy who'll throw for 50 yards through 3 quarters. And then if you need a great drive at the end, somehow he'll come up with that one. So it's like they're doing just well enough.
Yep.
And in the division they're in, always feels like Tampa Bay's one more injury away from just totally being out of it. And then you have the Falcons and the Saints the Falcons are about to be on their 3rd kicker. Is that right? So that tells you how their year is. And you already blanked them once this year. So you're in a spot where, if some things fall right, you could actually be talking about a fringe playoff team, which I never thought you'd be saying about, Carolina maybe ever. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a minute, right? Like it's been since Cam was there. So.
Right.
But
that's true. It's not fair to say ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they're in the 9th spot right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is they're the 9th spot. So they're on the outside looking in, but yeah. Well, that's what we're talking about, Ken. But yeah, I mean, the Panthers aren't as bad as everybody's making them sound. Now, had that been a loss to the Jets or all of a sudden you're like, yeah, you're way off this list.
Done.
But it just everybody that's around the 10 spot, there's enough wrong with some of the losses they've had that you're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we could argue to anybody in the 10. Let's just be honest. And the fact that we're only arguing the 10 shows you that there's a lot going on in the league this year. So
exactly. So that being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. We appreciate you watching the show with us. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. It also makes it so that more people see the show. So those likes are way more important than you would think. Other than that, we're going to get out of here. We'll see y'all next week. Take it easy, everybody.